Okay, I'm going to read another short story that I've written myself, and this one is called Grace. Grace stands by the bus stop for hours on end, but she never gets on one. Grace leaves small bags scattered around the park with food to feed the ducks. Grace travels up and down the hotel lift, never getting out at any floor. Grace purchases a ticket for a movie, but remains in the lobby for the duration of it. Grace buys a bouquet of flowers and puts them on a stranger's grave. Grace walks around the hospital corridors for hours on end. Grace sits at the bar and pretends to weep into her hands. Grace places photos of herself at random locations. Grace calls a payphone and hangs up immediately when someone eventually answers. Grace pays a taxi driver and makes a request to be left off in a place she's never before set foot in. Grace buys bags of groceries and leaves them scattered in various spots outside the supermarket to see who will take them. Grace removes her jacket and jumper as soon as the rain pours down. Grace rents a room just to look out the window onto the street. Grace puts random digits into her phone and sends text messages. Grace joins queues and keeps on going to the back. Grace puts a short, obscene message halfway down her CV and posts it into companies. Grace holds the door for strangers for 30 minutes straight. Grace loudly thanks the ATM after withdrawing money. Grace gets drunk at the airport bar. Grace uses a cubicle in the men's bathroom. Grace shoplifts before returning the stolen item to its original place within minutes. Grace hands out chocolate and money to people in the waiting room. Grace flips a coin to decide whether or not to spend the night on a park bench or a beach. Grace walks backwards until she falls over. Grace leaves the charity clothes shop wearing a different outfit to the one she enters with. Grace goes to Burger King to masturbate. Grace adds changes to blackboard menus outside restaurants. Grace writes her phone number in lipstick on bathroom mirrors and bus and train stations. Grace punches herself on the nose until it bleeds. Grace visits random terminally ill people in hospitals to hold their hand. Grace climbs into the luggage compartment of buses and travels to the next location. Grace walks up to various strangers and asks them to rate her body out of 10. Grace opens bank accounts that she never uses. Grace tells waiters that she can't read or write. Grace follows security guards around shops until they become uneasy. Grace stands outside a nightclub watching people enter and leave. Grace finds the lowest rated hotel in the city and checks in at 4 a.m. Grace has picnics during the storm. You don't know Grace, but she knows you. She's sitting there right across from you. Thanks very much for listening. There'll be more soon.